This man was about to become a multimillionaire after spending 24 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. But what he did next will make your jaw drop. By the end of this video, you'll see how greed can destroy everything, and I mean everything. Stay with me because this story has a twist that nobody saw coming. Meet Shaun. He's 16 years old, living in Philadelphia, and his life is about to become a nightmare that will span decades. But here's the crazy part. The nightmare that's about to begin, it's nothing compared to what he'll do to himself later. And when I tell you what happens next, you're not going to believe it. Picture this. It's 1990, and a businessman just withdrew $25,000 from a bank. As he's leaving, bam! A car full of criminals crashes into him. One jumps out, shoots him in the chest, grabs the money, and speeds away. Classic armed robbery, right? But here's where it gets insane. Someone, and we still don't know who, tells police that 16-year-old Shaun did this. The problem? Shaun was across town at a youth center, filling out paperwork. He has time-stamped forms, witnesses, his mother and sister saw him there. Open and shut case, right? Wrong. The police arrest him anyway. And in 1994, despite having an alibi, despite having proof he wasn't there, Shaun gets sentenced to life in prison at just 20 years old. His mother and sister, they were never even called to testify. Can you imagine? Now most people would give up, but not Shaun. For 17 years, he writes letter after letter after letter to anyone who will listen. Finally, in 2011, the Pennsylvania Innocence Project takes his case. They dig deeper and discover what we all suspected. Suppressed evidence, other suspects, the works. After a massive legal battle, in 2017, after 24 years behind bars, Shaun walks free at 43 years old. But wait, it gets better. Way better. Shaun sues the city of Philadelphia for wrongful conviction, and in 2020, they settle out of court for $4.1 million. This guy went from a prison cell to being a multimillionaire. He's got money, he's got a girlfriend named Keitra, he's living the dream. You'd think this story ends happily ever after, right? You'd think after 24 years of hell, Shaun would be grateful and live quietly. But what happens next is so stupid, so unbelievably reckless, that it'll make you question everything you think you know about human nature. Here's where Shaun makes the dumbest decision in criminal history. $4.1 million isn't enough for him. He wants more. So instead of investing it, instead of starting a business, instead of literally anything else, he decides to become a drug dealer. And not just any drug dealer, he wants to be a drug kingpin with people working under him. So he goes to his girlfriend Keitra and says, "Hey, can you find someone to sell drugs for me?" And she introduces him to her childhood friend Akeem. Shaun gives Akeem a bag of cocaine and says, "Sell this for $1,200 and bring me my cut." Simple, right? But Akeem either doesn't sell it or keeps the money. Either way, Shaun doesn't get his $1,200. Now, a smart person would write off the loss and move on. But remember, we're not dealing with a smart person here. Shaun is furious. And what he does next is absolutely insane. A few days later, Shaun's driving around with Keitra and casually suggests they drive by Akeem's neighborhood. Keitra has no idea they're beefing. She also has no idea that Shaun has a gun hidden in his hoodie. They spot Akeem, Keitra pulls over, and Shaun jumps out. He runs up to Akeem and shoots him dead, right there in broad daylight. Over $1,200. This man threw away $4.1 million and his freedom over $1,200. But it gets worse. As they're driving away, Keitra realizes what just happened, and Shaun, knowing she's suspicious, starts threatening her. "I can't go back to jail. I know where your family lives. Keep your mouth shut." Then he drops a bombshell that changes everything. He tells her that Akeem isn't the first person he's killed. He's actually the third. Wait, what? This suggests that maybe, just maybe, Shaun actually was guilty of that original crime from 1990. Maybe those timestamps were wrong. Maybe his mother and sister lied for him. But Shaun's not done making terrible decisions. Knowing that Keitra could expose him, he tries to hire a hitman to kill his own girlfriend. But by this time, he's already been bragging about the murder to other people, and someone tips off the police. Shaun gets arrested, pleads guilty, and after being free for just 5 years, he's sentenced to another 33 to 66 years in prison. Let me put this in perspective. This man spent 24 years in prison for a crime he probably didn't commit, won $4.1 million in compensation, and then threw it all away over a $1,200 drug deal gone wrong. The most tragic part? If he had just invested that money conservatively, he could have lived comfortably for the rest of his life without ever working again. Instead, he's spending the rest of his life behind bars, and this time, he actually deserves it. This story proves that sometimes the biggest prison isn't made of bars and concrete. It's made of greed and poor decisions. What do you think? Was Shaun actually innocent of the original crime? Or was this his true nature finally showing? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this story as unbelievable as I did, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because I've got tons more true crime stories that will blow your mind. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.